'Cause I don't want nobody change me now. 'Cause I like to be myself. If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. I hope you are here to stay. So today, you guys, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my pregnancy, and I'm going to be giving you a little update. You guys can already tell from the video that this is going to be about cholestasis. If you guys have been following me for a while, if you've been following my journey, if you guys have been with me since I first started posting with my first pregnancy with my son, he's now 3 years old. When I was pregnant with him, I was diagnosed with cholestasis of pregnancy at 28 weeks. And at the time, I was told by the doctor that diagnosed me that more than likely with every pregnancy, I was going to be experiencing this condition. And before I keep going, if you guys have never heard of cholestasis of pregnancy, when I got diagnosed with it with him, I had no idea what it was. I had never heard of it before. So I'm pretty sure there's still a lot of women out there who have no idea what it is, and it is actually a very serious condition that can lead to very unfortunate and sad things. So I decided to make this video to update you guys, but also as awareness for the condition, because again, it's a condition that not a lot of people get when they're pregnant. Very low percentage of women develop this condition during pregnancy. So and I'm going to read off my phone. So cholestasis of pregnancy may increase the risk of fetal distress, preterm labor, and stillbirth. A developing baby relies on the mother's liver to remove bile acids from the blood. Therefore, the elevated levels of maternal bile causes stress on the baby's liver. So pretty much when you're pregnant, you know, or always, your liver produces bile. But when you're pregnant, sometimes the hormones and the HCG hormones makes the liver to overproduce this bile, and that bile is very, very toxic to the baby if the baby goes past 37 weeks gestation. So 37 weeks in your tummy, it can be fatal to the baby. So the toxins, they're so toxic that the baby can pass away while it's still in you, or you run the risk of if this condition goes undetermined throughout the entire pregnancy, you run the risk of delivering a stillborn baby. So it's very serious, you guys, and not a lot of people talk about this because it's not super common, and it's not a super common condition. So let me go back to my story. With my son, I was diagnosed at 28 weeks, and the only reason why I was diagnosed is because I was experiencing, for one whole day, I was experiencing itchiness in the palms of my hands, like unbearable itchiness on the palms of my hands and the bottom of my feet. So it was unbearable, and I did not know what it was. I have a whole video on when I was diagnosed with him with a lot, you know, more in detail. I'm not going to get too much in detail with that because I want to focus on this pregnancy, but those were my symptoms, and my symptoms were very severe only for one day. So for one day they were only severe. Anyways, I ended up calling my doctor. I talked to her about it, and she had me come in. She ran some tests on me due to the itchiness, and she told me, you have cholestasis and we're gonna have to induce you at 36 weeks. So that was my first pregnancy, and she told me you run the risk of future pregnancies of having it again because you already had that with your first pregnancy. So I always kept that in mind, and I was always scared, even though I was trying to conceive, you know, year by year. I still had that in the back of my mind, like, okay, like there's still a chance that if I do get pregnant again, that I'm gonna have this condition. So with this pregnancy, fast forward, you know, to 3 years later, I'm pregnant again. Right now I am 30, today as we speak, I am 34 weeks pregnant. At 20 something weeks, I brought this up to my doctor, and I said, hey, I haven't been getting any symptoms this time, and the symptoms that you get is itchiness. Okay, so unbearable itchiness, that's one of the main symptoms. So I told her I'm not having any symptoms, everything seems to be going well. And she told me in the beginning of my pregnancy, because she knew my history, because I told her, and she said, you know what, she made me feel really comfortable about this, and I talked to you guys about this. I think I also gave you an update that she said, just because you had it with your first doesn't mean you're gonna have it again this time around, so don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. Not that everything's gonna be okay, she didn't say that to me, but she said, you know, don't worry, the chances are very low that you will develop this again. So I was very positive, and I just went on with my pregnancy, and there was just something in me that I was like, you know what, the first time around I only had severe symptoms one full day, and then the rest, and after that they started me on medication, so the symptoms were they died down a little bit, but only one day they were very severe. So in my mind I just kept thinking, like, I don't want to miss it, you know. If I didn't speak up that one time with Ethan, like, they could have missed it, because again, I was only concerned about it one day. And so this time around I'm like, you know what, I don't want to run the risk. I just don't want to miss it, you know. I don't want to maybe be itchy every now and then, and just me like kind of thinking, oh, it's normal, you know, it's not cholestasis, it's normal, and just kind of go about my days. I just couldn't do that. I just had something in me that I wanted to tell the doctor to test me regardless. Like, even if I didn't have symptoms, I wanted her to do the test. So I did. I brought it up to her, and I told her, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I haven't had any symptoms, but I would like to take the test. So she said, okay. She's like, well, I'll send you to take the test at 30 weeks. 30 or 31 weeks, I believe. And I said, okay, that's perfect. Like, that will give me peace of mind. As long as I know my levels are not elevated, as long as I know my levels are still okay, everything's good, it's fine. So in my last video, I told you guys, and I updated you guys, letting you guys know how I did the test. They drew my blood, and they never called me. 2 weeks went by, and they never called me. So that's why in that video, I tell you guys, like, hey, I'm good, like, I don't have cholestasis, like, I'm gonna be going into labor on my own, like, this is gonna be so exciting. I'm so happy at the fact that my body's gonna be able to, because with my son I was induced, and with cholestasis you have to be induced. They will not let you go past 37 weeks. So I was just so excited. It had been 2 weeks, and they didn't call me. And you know, when they call you, it's because they found something, right? Something is always wrong when they call you. And when they don't call me, I mean, we all know this, when they don't call you, then there's nothing to worry about. Everything came back okay. So they didn't call me, and so I was like, okay, this is perfect. Like, I don't have it. Literally for the first, because when something comes up wrong, they'll call you within like the first 3 days. And so the first 3 days I was so nervous, and I was just thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, I was just looking at my phone, waiting, hoping that I didn't get that call. And so I didn't get it, and then I eventually was just like, okay, perfect. Like, more days went by, 2 weeks went by, and nothing. Okay. And then I made that video, right? And I updated you guys and telling you guys everything's good. I'm going to labor on my own, and I'm going to be preparing for labor so that I can go into labor on my own. Okay. Then exactly 2 weeks, the 2 weeks after, since right now my appointments are every 2 weeks, so exactly 2 weeks after they drew my blood, I went and saw my doctor again. And she comes in and she's like, oh, did you see your results? And I was like, oh yeah, I saw them, because I did see them. You know how you're able to see them online? So I went and I saw them, but again, it still didn't register to me, because when I saw them, they were in red, but I didn't know how to interpret them because they were just in red. And I was like, but they didn't call me, so maybe everything was okay. You know, to me, I literally thought everything was okay. And so I was like, oh yeah, I saw them, but you know, I'm thinking, yeah, I saw them, so we're good, you know? And she's like, okay, yeah, so we're gonna be inducing you in 36, 37 weeks. She's like, I want you to go ahead and step outside and start scheduling your NSTs. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, she's like, your levels were elevated, so we're going to be inducing you again. Oh my gosh, like, in that, honestly, like, I didn't even ask any questions in regards to the induction. I didn't ask any questions. I was still processing in my head, like, wait, I had already made up my mind. Like, in my mind, I had already made up my mind, like, I don't have this. This is gonna be a normal pregnancy this time, and you're telling me I do have it and I'm gonna be induced, and now you want me to schedule my NSTs, which NSTs are non-stress tests. And when you have cholestasis, you are high risk. You're at high risk pregnancy, so they start monitoring the baby because you know, the baby has a higher chance of being in distress due to the bile, the excess of bile. So they monitor you 2 times a week. They hook you up to a machine, they monitor the baby's heartbeat, they monitor his movement, and then they do an ultrasound 2 times a week. And I did this exact same process with Ethan. So yeah, so she tells me that to go outside and to start scheduling my NSTs. And she's like, all right, she's like, okay, well, that's it for today. You know, blah, blah, like, literally it was like not even a 5-minute visit. And I was just still so shocked in the I was just so still shocked on the news that I had cholestasis again, that I forgot to ask all questions. You know, I forgot to ask her questions. And I just went outside and I scheduled my NSTs, and then I went to the car and I called Junior, and I just started crying, and I told him, and I said, Junior, I said, I have cholestasis again, like, I'm not gonna go into labor on my own. I said, they're gonna induce me. I said, they're gonna induce me in 3 to 4 weeks. At the time it was 3 to 4 weeks. Right now it's now that I'm 34 weeks. She doesn't know yet if she's inducing me in 2 weeks or if she's inducing me in 3 weeks. But anyways, you know, I told Junior, I was like, Junior, I was like, the baby's gonna come in 3 to 4 weeks. I was like, it's gonna be an induction again. They're gonna start me on the non-stress test again. I'm gonna be coming twice a week again. Like, I was just crying. Like, I called my mom, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I was so ecstatic. And I think you guys could tell in the last video, like, I was just so happy that this was going to be a normal pregnancy. And to find out that it wasn't, like, I was gonna have to go through the same process again. It was scary, because that meant that I had to be on medication again. That meant that I had to be a little bit more alert again. I mean, with every pregnancy you want to be alert, but with this, once you know that you have a condition, it's like you're looking out for how often did the baby move, like, is he moving enough, like. And ever since she told me, I have been so aware of his movements. And I did notice when I started the medication, I did notice a decrease in his movement. And it's been 2 times already that I've almost had Junior take me to the hospital, because I'm like, he's not moving, like, he's not being as active. And it's scary. Like, it's scary, because it's just, you worry so much more. So anyways, they're going to be inducing me she's going to be checking my cervix at 35 weeks. So next week I have my appointment. She's going to be checking my cervix, and she's going to decide if she's going to induce me at 36 or 37 weeks. Trying to stay positive more than anything, and I'm just grateful to God that everything went well the first time around with Ethan. I followed, you know, all the instructions, all the direction, my doctor's directions, and I took the medication that they prescribed me. They prescribed me Ursodiol. That's what it's called. I think that's how you pronounce it, Ursodiol. I took that with Ethan, and they prescribed me that again. So you know, my son came out perfect. He is honestly one of the smartest little kids that I know. So and I took the medication with him too, starting at 28 weeks. So I'm feeling very positive. I'm feeling very positive. Still worry. I worry, of course I worry, but I'm trying to see this in the most positive way that I possibly can, because even though it sucks so bad that I'm gonna have to be induced again, that I'm gonna have to go through that process. If you guys didn't know, with Ethan, I was induced and I was in labor for 37 hours because my body was just not ready to give birth yet, you know. He was not ready to come out yet, and so I was being induced and it just took forever. It was such a hard labor that I was so scared of that this time around again. So when she told me that, honestly, like all I can think of was the 37 hours that I was in labor with Ethan, and I was like, not again. Like, I cannot believe like they're gonna induce me again. And then I started thinking and I said, you know what, this isn't about you. Like, this isn't about you and your labor and how, you know, how hard it was for you. This is about the baby and the baby's health and the baby's well-being. So as long as the baby is healthy, I don't care if I have to be induced again. I don't care if I have to be in labor for another 37 hours, if I have to be in pain, if whatever I have to go through for my baby to be healthy and for my baby to be safe, then that's all that matters. So I'm seeing it in a super positive way. And the difference between this time and Ethan's time, the difference between this time and the first time that I had cholestasis is that this time around, now that I'm getting closer to my due date, day by day I have been experiencing itchiness. And I actually did experience itchiness before she confirmed that I had it, but again, I didn't think anything of it because I had already gotten my blood drawn. And I believe when I was feeling this itchiness, it had been a week. It had been 1 week from the time that I took the test that they didn't call me. So I was already thinking that everything was fine. And I'm a lash tech, you guys. So when I'm lashing, I'm sitting for periods of 2 to 3 hours at a time. And so by the end of the day, when I'm lashing, my feet end up really swollen. So I was experiencing a lot of itchiness on the bottom of my feet and just all over my legs in general. But I was correlating the itchiness to my feet being swollen. So I was like, oh, my feet are so itchy because my feet are swollen. Once again, I was just thinking, like, what are the chances that I'm gonna have cholestasis again? You know, I didn't think of it. I honestly didn't think I was gonna have it. So I was like, oh, my feet are itchy because I'm swollen. And now that I know that I actually do have cholestasis, now I'm like, oh my gosh, like the itchiness is probably because of that, because I'm still itchy, but I'm itchy like all over, like mainly in my hands and the palm of my feet. But I'll be like itchy like on my stomach, on my legs, just randomly throughout the day. I'm just like, I find myself like itching, and it scares me because I don't know if that means my levels are higher this time around than when with Ethan. Like, I don't know. But like I said, I'm trying to remain positive, and whatever we gotta do, we gotta get the baby out at 36-37 weeks, then that's what we're gonna do in order for us to make sure that the baby's gonna be okay. And like I said, the only thing that I've noticed right now since diagnosis, since I started my medication, has been his movement has been a lot slower than a couple of days back, because this baby, he's like, I've told you guys before, he's such an active baby. Like, he moves a lot more than Ethan. But you know what, now that I think of it, now that I put it into perspective, I started taking medication with Ethan at 28 weeks, and he wasn't a super active baby. Like, in my tummy, like, he was not a super active baby. I remember I even bought a Doppler. Like Junior got me a Doppler because I was so worried, especially knowing the diagnosis back then. I was so worried because he wouldn't really move. And so he bought me a Doppler just so we can check his heartbeat and make sure, like, you know, his heartbeat's beating, everything's okay. And so now that I think of it, actually, now that I'm sitting down talking to you guys about this, and I'm processing the fact that his movement has gotten slower, it could be. And please, if anybody else out there has experienced cholestasis before and you have taken Ursodiol, the medication, please let me know if you have noticed a decline in your baby's movement. Because now that I think of it, I'm like, maybe that is why he's less active throughout the day now, because now I'm taking medication, and maybe that medication makes him be less active. I don't know. I am gonna ask my doctor though next week. The first time around I had no idea. I didn't know, so I didn't know if that was a side effect or anything. But now that I put 2 and 2 together and I can compare this pregnancy to my first, I'm like, maybe that's why Ethan was such a calm baby. Because even when he was bigger, he wouldn't move as much. And this time around, I didn't get diagnosed till 32 weeks. That's the only thing that I can think of that could have changed. That's what's gonna happen, you guys. I'll probably bring you guys along to my NSTs. I don't know if I will be able to film them there or not, but I will for sure make sure to update you guys and just keep you updated. We have a lot of things coming up, and we're just trying to remain super positive and with the best attitude towards it, because, you know, things happen for a reason. And I'm just so glad and grateful that my doctor listened to me and that she was okay with testing me, even though she didn't want to, even though she said that there'd be no need, because the percentage was really low for me to have it once again for the second time, and blah blah blah. But I was still like, no, I really need to take that test. I just want to make sure for peace of mind that I don't have this and we're not gonna miss it. So you guys, if you guys are pregnant at any point of your pregnancy, cholestasis normally occurs a little bit more severe, like the itchiness, the symptoms occur second or third trimester. But at any point in your pregnancy, if you're experiencing itchiness all over your body, but mainly, this is key, mainly on the palms of your hands and the bottom of your feet. If you're experiencing like just random itchiness, please bring it up to your doctor. Ask your doctor, ask her about cholestasis. Say, hey, I heard about this condition and I've been really itchy. Can you please just test me? Just to get that out of the way, just to rule that out, to make sure, and to rule that out so that you don't have to sit there and worry, you know, that God forbid something can happen and you miss it, like the doctors miss it or you miss it, and you know, you deliver a stillborn baby, or it just God forbid. Like, these are just horrible terms and words that I don't even like to say. Like, I don't even want them to come out of my mouth, but unfortunately these are the things that can happen if cholestasis goes undetected. So please, if you guys experience any of those type of symptoms, bring it up to your doctor. And yeah, that is pretty much it, you guys. I think that is all I have for you guys today for as an update. And it sucks, like, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks that it has to be this way, but like I said, I'm just gonna be positive, and I'm just excited that I will be actually meeting my baby sooner than I thought. Remember I told you guys we're moving and we have a lot of things coming up. We had not even started buying anything for the baby. We didn't have anything for the baby, and that day that she told me that he was gonna come sooner, I took off to the store and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be prepared, and I just got him a bunch of little things just in case, you know, because with with this condition you can go into preterm labor, so you might not even make it to the induction date, to the 36-37 weeks. You never know. You just never know. So I'm still preparing. I still have to buy like a diaper bag, and I still have to buy a couple more things. I do want to get my hospital bag already ready, because we're pretty much 2 to 3 weeks away from the induction date. So, which I don't have a specific date right now, and when I do have it, I will let you guys know, but I don't have the specific date right now. She wants to check me next week at 35 weeks, check my cervix, and then she'll decide what day she's going to schedule the induction for. But I am planning to bring you guys along throughout this entire journey, because I regret not doing it the first time with Ethan. Just because when I was going through this situation with him, I wished there was somebody out there who had more information on cholestasis, who had more information on how you feel, on the experience, on induction, on going to non-stress tests and all that. Like, I wish there was somebody out there, you know, explaining a little bit more, since this is not a common condition. There's not a lot of people who talk about this. So I want to be that person for you. Hopefully none of you have to experience this, but if you do, I don't want you to feel alone. I want you to know that there's other women who are also experiencing it, and that we are going to attack this condition with the most positive mindset ever, and our babies are going to be healthy, and our babies are going to be okay. And yeah, let's get ready for induction, guys. I'm nervous, I'm scared for induction, but everything's going to be okay. And we just have to think that way, that everything's going to be okay. And you know what, if if I just can't take it anymore, I'm just gonna ask for the epidural once again, like I did with Ethan. If you guys have not, if you guys are new to my channel, you guys can scroll all the way down to like some of my first couple of videos. I do have my birth story, my labor and delivery story with Ethan, with my son, and then I also have the specific cholestasis video where I was diagnosed with him, and how it happened and how it went. I have more details on that first time in that video. If you guys want, I'll actually try to link them down below in the description if you guys want to go watch those. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, for keeping up with me, and just for being here. Appreciate you guys very, very, very much. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your bell notifications so that you guys are notified every single time that I upload a video. I will be updating you guys, so that way you guys don't miss an update. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys on the next one.